do you grow a respectable, trusted relationship with a horse without going through the rocky negative stage of not trusting and not feeling safe around your horse? Let's talk about that. And today I want to talk about having a relationship with your horse and how important it is for your safety and the well-being and health of your own horse and yourself. Apparently there's a lot of people out there that are afraid of their horse, afraid of going barefoot around their horse, afraid of walking behind their horse, afraid of going bareback, afraid of riding in a bitless bridle or a halter. And I think that fear comes from not having a proper relationship with your horse, because if you really knew your horse, you knew your horse's body language, they knew yours, you wouldn't have these issues. You would feel as comfortable as you would, or as you are, with your best friend, with your spouse, or whatever, because when you know an animal so well, that's what they become. They become a part of your family, and you know their personality traits, you know the things that they're capable of, you know the things that triggers them. So how do we learn these things safely? How do we be around horses safely? How do we build this relationship safely? How do we get to the point of being able to be around our horse barefoot or go walk behind their butt without being afraid of getting kicked, or riding bareback, or riding without a bit, and not being afraid of getting thrown or bolted with or whatever? Obviously, horses can be a very dangerous animal, but they can also be your best friend that will never change. I want to share some of the things I think will help you if you're struggling with this, the things that I practice, and the things I've just learned over time, and how to build a relationship with your horse. So it doesn't just start with practicing walking behind your horse. It doesn't start with sacking them out or breaking them. You don't build a trusting relationship with your horse by sacking them out, breaking them, by forcing them against their will, by chasing them around their pen to catch them. You don't build a relationship by throwing a saddle on them and making them buck it out. You can't force a relationship like you can force obedience, and a relationship doesn't come when you get obedience. The relationship building process starts as soon as you start interacting with your horse. As soon as you got to the pen, when you start brushing the horse, when you put the halter on the horse, when you even feed the horse every single morning and night, that is the relationship building process. That's when it starts. Actually, the best way to build a relationship is going to be on the ground. And I don't mean groundwork, I don't mean lunging, I don't mean getting the perfect behavior from your horse. That's not going to get you a perfect relationship, that's going to get you perfect behavior. Some things you can practice that I think really help with building a relationship. One of them is taking your horse for a walk, or just sitting around doing nothing with your horse, letting them graze outside of their pen, just spending quality time with them where you're not asking them to do anything. Taking your horse for walks is really helpful for your relationship because you get to work on a lot of things, one of them being leading your horse, which a lot of people just think, oh, leading the horse, you just hold them under the chin, you make them go wherever you want. That's not leading a horse, that's forcing a horse to go with you. When you lead a horse like this, you're putting yourself much closer to them, and you're not allowing them to see their surroundings, and they're more likely to spook. You're forcing their head right here, so they can't look around, they can't see the things that might spook them, and they're more likely to react to things that are scary. And when they spook, they're going to jump into you, and you're going to immediately become the victim and try to protect yourself. And it's dangerous, you get your feet stepped on a lot, you can get run over. You're also not teaching the horse to lead, you're just forcing them to go with you. And there's no training involved with this. This is just forceful leading. So what I recommend is to learn how to lead your horse with a trust slack, as I like to call it. Leading a horse with distance in between you and them, allowing the horse to look around, to be a free horse. They are more likely to be more comfortable because they have more control over the situation. Another reason going for walks with your horse is really beneficial is that you get to practice being less barn sour, and that's really good to practice without riding, because riding a barn sour horse can be kind of dangerous. And another Another good reason I like taking my horse for a walk is that I can make sure that they're good with traffic if you're walking them along a road or whatever before riding them. If you're training a horse to traffic for the first time while you're riding them, that can be very, very dangerous. And you can't and shouldn't expect all drivers to know the correct way to pass a rider and their horse. So training a horse to traffic is very, very important, and I don't recommend doing it while riding, so doing it on a walk is the perfect time to train your horse to traffic. Another thing that's great for relationship building with your horse is learning massage and stretching routines for them, like simple ones obviously, but learning a massage routine with your horse is really good because you're feeling all over them, so you know their body really well, and if anything happens to change or if they start getting sore spots on their body, you immediately know and you can catch it early. If you're interested in wanting to make a better relationship with your horse, you should really focus on the relationship first, and then the training will come after that, and it will come much easier than if you started with the training. The relationship building is just all about earning trust and respect, and you don't get those things when you're just focusing on training the horse, breaking them in, sucking them out, doing all these things to them so that they become trained horses that just have the spirit knocked out of them and they don't care about you or your problems. They just want to get their work done and go back into their pen with their other horses. Learning a horse's body language isn't really something you can learn without practice. So really just hanging out with your horse and really observing their body language is really helpful, and being very aware and showing them that you know and you understand their discomforts or their fears can really help reassure them so that they know that you're not going to push them past their breaking point and that they can trust you. So whenever you're doing something like saddling up your horse and you're putting their cinch or girth on or whatever, and you immediately see them tense up when you go to tighten it, that's probably a sign of discomfort. So you let them know that you saw that and you release that pressure, and they're going to immediately appreciate you understanding them. It's important that when you're building a relationship with your horse, you don't take anything personally. You aren't out here trying to prove who's the boss. You're not trying to force dominance. You are literally just out here to make friends with this horse and build trust. So you're trying to show them all of the ways that you can, that you see them, you understand them, you know their feelings. I actually just read an interesting fact that was like in a list of random horse facts or whatever that I probably already knew, but it was interesting anyways that this was actually like an uncommon horse fact or whatever, but that horses can pick up on human emotions. They know when you're sad or when you're angry, and their emotions change from ours. So if you're angry and you're working with the horse, they suddenly become more shut down and fearful. This is like an actual fact. The way I look at it is that we're always asking horses to do things for us. We're using them for our own gain, and horses don't always get a lot out of it. So when you're looking at it from a relationship standpoint, is that we need to add more into our routines for our horses that they can enjoy and that they can bond with us over, like massage, like walks, like letting them out and just standing with them, let them graze, be a completely passive partner. You can sit on your horse and just be in the moment and let them do them. You don't always have to be controlling them, telling them where to go, telling them what to do. You don't have to be that boss where you're constantly telling them no. Just letting them have a little bit of freedom and be with you without having it be work. Once you spend that much quality passive time with your horse, you're going to know everything about them, and you're going to feel completely comfortable with them, and they're going to feel the same way about you. So you're no longer going to have those fears about maybe getting kicked when you walk behind them, because you're going to know their body language, and if they're telling you that they don't want you back there, you're going to know. And so, but they're not going to care if you go behind them because they completely trust you now. You're not going to be afraid to walk around them barefoot because you know they're not going to run you over because they trust you and respect you now. You give them that freedom feeling that they don't have to get away from. Anyways, I hope you guys found this information helpful. I just wanted to let you know that my handmade merch is on sale right now, and it's not going to be for long, so if you want to go check it out, I'll add their information down below. Go check it out. That's it for this video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a big like. I post new videos every single Sunday, so don't forget to subscribe and come back next time.